Yay, what's up, what's up, what's up? It is Monday. I'm Alexandra Harbushka, founder of Life with Herpes. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a beautiful weekend. Hi.
Did I interrupt anything?
I'm live. Do you want to say hi?
Do you want me to say hi?
Yeah, say hi.
Okay.
This is my husband with his new Father's Day outfit on.
Oh.
We don't fit.
You're in the way.
You're in my way.
There we go. Okay. Hi.
We did it.
What are we talking about?
Well, I just went live, and we just started. So I was just saying my name.
Yeah.
Which is, like you walked in right when I went. You're hot. You were outside.
I was outside. It's hot outside.
Is it?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm Alexandra Harbushka, founder of Life with Herpes. This is my husband, Bill.
Yes.
Who does not have herpes.
I do not.
Just me.
I know, just you.
I got both types. I gotta do it all in one spot here. Anyways, so this is your opportunity to ask your questions. Not very often do I have Bill here. So if you guys want to ask your questions specifically for my husband who does not have herpes, and ask him anything that he wants to know, feel free to ask your questions in the comments and we will answer them. But since I have Bill here.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Even though I don't have herpes, we do have sex.
We do.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would want more.
Yeah. Always.
Always.
It's a thing.
But we do have sex. And you know what? Actually, I was getting a lot of personal questions today that I don't feel that are personal, but since I have Bill here, we can talk about them. One of them is, how do we know that you don't have herpes? And the reason why they're like, well, do you go by just like, does he get sores or outbreaks? And I actually force Bill to get tested. Like, he doesn't want to. He's over it. He's like, I don't care. I don't want to get tested. But anytime that you go to the doctor, I always say, get tested, right?
Yeah, I get tested. I think I go in for blood work twice a year, just as a normal thing for, normal blood work. And she always says, get tested. So, okay, so I will. So, and I have always tested.
Always been negative for both HSV1 and HSV2. So
right.
Your question here, do I have HSV1 or 2? I have both. Yay.
Exciting.
I have both. I have oral HSV1 and genital HSV2. So I have both. I get to experience both. I know what both feel like. And it's something that I've lived with for decades. That sounds old.
Well, you are.
I'm not.
You're getting there.
Never.
Oh, yeah.
Never. I'm never getting there. I will always be younger.
Yeah. You will always be younger than me. Yes. For sure.
But another personal question that you guys have been asking, again, this is not very often that Bill is here. Like, he's never done a live with me on this. So ask your question. So what prevention measures do you take? Do you want to answer that?
Well, I'll answer how I answer, and then you can answer how you answer. So this past weekend, we were at a beautiful resort. We had a sales rally, and she came and joined me on the night, the final night. So we had like a night alone without the kid, and all of a sudden she goes, I have an outbreak.
And Bill's like,
oh, really?
But he always answers it not like, he's just like, okay, great.
Yep.
Like, what?
And so then, but the point is, it's beautiful. You got the big beds, and you got the fluffy sheets, and you got the whole stuff, and and so we were both able to pleasure each other.
Right. We still had fun.
There was no intercourse. So, but we
still had fun, and we were still able to be intimate and still have adult time, and I still got dressed up. I still felt sexy. My husband got all dressed up and looked hot and sexy and handsome. You did?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we still went out to dinner and had a great night. We were also in bed pretty early, which is lame. But we still had a really fun, sexy night. How long did you know
a question about medication too.
Okay. How long did you know each other before you disclosed? So that's a funny story. I actually disclosed to my husband the first day I was diagnosed with herpes, but he wasn't my husband. So I was dating someone else, and I worked with my husband. Again, he was a colleague This is back 2011, and I worked with him. And so I came back into the office after getting the diagnosis phone call. This is how you hold phones now, not this. From getting the diagnosis phone call. And he's like, what happened to you? And so I shared with him and told him. But again, we weren't dating. There was nothing, it wasn't even like a thought. And then what happened when we started dating? And I told you, well, I had to redisclose.
Yeah. So she just told me what it was. I didn't know. I was like, what is that? What does that mean? What does it do? Is my life going to be shortened? Am I going to not live a long life because you have this herpes virus? What's going to happen if it's passed to me? So she educated me on it, told me what it was. And then she actually took the antiviral for, I think it was 3 years, something like that. And then she came to me and said, hey, I'm thinking about going off the antiviral. What do you think about that? I said, I don't care. Well, I'm in it. Let's go.
You're in it.
So she just felt long term that maybe that wasn't quite the thing to do. And so she went off it, and we've been totally fine since then. And that's probably been at least 4 years, right?
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Since that happened. So, and that was that. And I've done the statistics. I'm a math guy.
Very big math guy.
Very big math guy. I'm, kind of a nerdy guy that way.
Not
and
nerdy.
I did the math, and I figured out that the percentage of time you are actually in the act of sex is at most about 0.6% of your life. If you look at having sex from age 18 to age 80, I might go beyond that. And I know that's kind of like, oh God, gross. but at the same time, 0.6%. So what you really want to get is this connection, the mind to the mind. Yeah, the mind, that connection, rather than the physical part. The physical part certainly is, something that has to happen in every relationship. But if you don't have the mind relationship, that doesn't work. So 0.6%, is it worth it to have somebody not with you for 0.6% of the time? I just don't think it is. So, and I have numbers. If you want numbers, I'm sure she can post the numbers, but it was,
you have to give me the math problem.
I'll have to give you the math, but it was if you made love for 15 minutes, whatever you want to call it.
If you're intimate.
If you're intimate.
Go to Pound Town.
15 minutes at a time, for 3 days a week, for 4 days a week, for 2 days a week. If you did it for 10 minutes a time, intimate, for 3 days a week, 4 days a week, all that kind of stuff. It's not that much time. So this is what happens. And if there's an outbreak, you just figure out another way to do it. And there's other ways to do it.
There's lots of other ways to be intimate.
Yeah.
This is the best place to find truthful information. My doctors seem to not want to explain everything to me. Yeah, it is. I don't want to say doctors don't explain things, but I think we have to remember, in the doctor's world, herpes is not a big deal. There's way bigger deals medically that impact someone's life, and herpes, where the aftermath of being diagnosed, the emotional side is very impactful for us. Medically, it's not impactful for a doctor. So we have to remember that when their bedside manner a lot of times is like, hey, you have herpes, you're like, I'm literally turned to stone inside. How can you just crush me with this? And they're like, I got the next patient next door that has a life illness, so I need to get going. So we can't necessarily blame them for that. But we have to remember, there's a lot of people that are not giving out great information, and it's just because it's been such a taboo topic for so many years. It just hasn't been talked about. Back to your original question, what prevention methods do we take? I like to refer to you guys, what works for Bill and I isn't necessarily what's going to work for you guys, what's going to work for the next person, this person, that person. I like to recommend number one is communication, and that doesn't stop with the initial disclosure. It's not hey, I have herpes, and then that's it. I communicate all the time with my husband. hey, I think I have an outbreak, or I have an outbreak, or I feel like I'm getting an outbreak. I'm always communicating with him on my status. Number 2, you can take the antiviral. The antiviral is something that is prescribed by a doctor, and it is FDA proven to lower the transmission rate and to reduce the risk of outbreaks. Number 3, you could take supplements like lysine. Lysine, it has also many medical studies, many articles, many peer reviews that show that lysine actually helps prevent the replication of the herpes virus. In other words, it suffocates the herpes virus in our bodies. It does not like lysine. And then number 3 or 4 would be use a condom. Something to keep in mind, I'm not against condoms by any means, but they only protect you 30 to 50% of the time. So where you may think like, oh, I'll just use a condom, I don't need to communicate, I don't need to have any conversations, I'll just use a condom and I'll be fine. That's not always the case, because the condom only covers one section of the area that's coming into contact. So that's what I like to do. Those 4 things are really important. Do I take medication daily or just during outbreaks? I do not take medication. There's been seasons in my life when I have taken it, like my husband mentioned.
If you get an outbreak, do you go back to the antiviral?
I personally don't.
You don't? Okay.
I take lysine.
You used to, though.
I used to. There's been times that I would, like I was just going to say, there's seasons in my life where I've been like, I just can't deal with it. It depends on the severity of an outbreak. Is it one that I'm like, I just can't handle it? I'll take it. If it's another one like this last one that like, really, there was no pain. It was just like an inconvenience that we couldn't have sex when we were at the Wynn this last weekend. Then, yeah. So, I'm sorry that you have it. It must be hard. It's not hard. It's just, 80% of the population actually has herpes. So it's just part of life being human, I think. You've had herpes for 21 years. I understand. You've had it a few more years than I have, but I understand.
But a lot of people have it. It's not, the percentages are really high for both oral and genital.
HSV1, there's 67% of the population that has it. HSV2 is 13% of the population with it. So it's extremely, extremely common that somebody love and want to be with and want to have in your life has herpes, whether that's a mom, dad, an aunt, an uncle, a sibling, a romantic partner, whatever, that person has herpes. So we have to remember that we get all like, that person doesn't even want to date them, but there is someone in your life that you love that has it.
But I find,
yeah, what are you going to say?
I was going to talk about your dad but yeah.
I don't know where you're going, but you have it. I'm able to kiss people when I'm not having an outbreak. So here's the thing about kissing or sex or anything. Did you want to say something?
Nope.
Okay. So we are contagious when we have outbreaks, and we're contagious during viral shedding. The thing is about the viral shedding is viral shedding it can be asymptomatic, so we don't necessarily know when it happens. So as far as kissing someone, like I make the choice to kiss my husband, I make the choice to kiss my child because I feel like it's part of life. If I wasn't going to kiss my husband, then that wouldn't be part of life. Like I would be missing out on this, right? Same thing with my son and things like that. Bill's aware that I could transmit it to him unknowingly, and he's okay with that risk. I think it's just a matter of realizing that, again, 80% of the population has herpes, so most likely the person you're kissing already has it or has somebody in his or her life that they are in close contact with that has it. All right. How does a man know he has it? There's a couple of ways to be diagnosed, and then I'll let you go because I know you're...
Great.
There's a couple of ways to be diagnosed. My husband always gets tested in his blood test. So what they're doing is when they do a blood test, herpes does not live in our blood. It lives in our nervous system. It's a skin disease. It's not a blood disease. But what they're looking for in our blood is the antibodies. So when my husband goes in to get tested, they're doing a blood draw.
I know that. That's new information for me.
They're doing a blood draw to get his antibodies.
But you have to ask for it. Like it's not part of a normal blood work. So if it is like a physical you're going through it, you have to kind of ask for that.
Exactly.
Specifically.
Exactly. The next way would be a swab. So actually getting in there and getting the viral DNA of the herpes virus. So if you have an outbreak and like getting in there with, it's not a Q-tip, but it's a swab, getting it, and then they send that off to a lab. And the third way to be diagnosed is clinically diagnosed, is when a doctor, medical provider can look at it and say, based on your symptoms and based on what we see, that's herpes. So it is not included in the STI panel, which is very frustrating. You have to specifically ask for it, like what you said.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there anything else?
Any more questions for my husband? So you're willing to give it to your child? I'm not saying I'm willing to give it to my child. I'm saying that my child's going to come in contact with people throughout his life that could possibly give it to him as well. So whether it's grandparents, whether it's people that take care of him, whether it's teachers, whether it's friends at school, he's going to come in contact with it regardless, and it's something I can't protect him from. So I'm not going to give up on the cuddles and the hugs and the sharing and things that we naturally do as parents to keep him from something that he could end up getting.
And perfect example, people that are in dance classes, kids in dance classes, all that kind of stuff. If they're sharing lipstick or makeup or whatever, that can all transfer over so unknowingly, no one's trying to do it. It just happens sometimes, and it's just out of not knowing. So there's a lot of ways to get it, and it's not out of, it's just happenstance.
Like my son can go to school and pick up someone else's water, or of a kid that had an outbreak, he can get it from, there's 7 people in his life daily in his life, and out of the 7 people, 5 of them have HSV1. So for me to say I'm not going to be around my son or kiss him or do things, then there's 4 other people in his life that are doing that could transmit it as well. So, no hate. We're not, I just want to make sure that, no, I would never want to put my child in harm, but, it's just a matter of living life with your child.
Yeah.
How do I have the confidence to go public? My husband.
I did. I gave you confidence.
You did.
Okay.
Because you said this is something that you can share with people that can help them. And I said, you're right.
I agree 100%. And there's such a big stigma around herpes and what it is. And, I just think that breaking that stigma, it's not bad people. It's really good people. And people just, unfortunately, can get it in so many different ways. And it does have a bad stigma about it. And I think that you have really broken some of that stigma with all the stuff that you do. I'm proud of you for putting your voice out there as hard as it was, It
was. So there were times that it was really hard.
It was hard. You're like, oh my God, what am I doing? But it's been, I think you've helped a ton of people. So
thank you.
Yep.
I love you.
I love you.
All right.
I'm out.
Can you turn the AC down one
you're
notch?
Because you have a sweater on.
I'm hot because you're hot, and yes, I have a sweater on.
Did you see that? She's blaming me for being hot.
Well, you're sunburnt.
No, it's turned into tan.
It's not tan.
We were
it's
by
still
the
red.
pool and it looks.
I'm tan.
I look really tan now.
You look tan, but you're not.
You just can't see it.
He's red.
No, it's
red.
It looks
red.
like it's because I'm hot. Because
I'm not
you're
red.
sitting on me with your sweater.
No red.
So you've turned me hot.
No red.
Okay.
All right.
I'll turn the air down for you.
Like one notch. We don't need the full. I love you so much. Thanks for joining me. All right. Do I have frequent outbreaks? For HSV1, I do not. And for HSV2, I do struggle with it from time to time. I found out you had it in July in 21. How did you come to terms with it? It definitely took time. I call it the eeyore phase. The eeyore phase is when you are in that phase of resentment, anger, fear, insecure about your diagnosis, people knowing you're going to have it. I was in the eeyore phase for 2 years. It took me 2 years to get through it and to get out of it. Number one, I would say join a community of people that understand what you're doing. I didn't have that, and that's why it took me 2 years. Educate yourself just like you're doing right now as you're educating yourself about herpes. You're learning about herpes. And just surround yourself. I do have a community that you can join if it's something you'd like to join, but just keep doing that and pick the right community that works for you. let yourself feel what you need to feel about it, and it's not your fault. Yeah, definitely let yourself feel the feelings. Do I know how I got it? Yes, I do know how I got it. I know where I got it, and that's okay. When you got pregnant, did you tell your OBG? Yes, I definitely had a conversation with my OBG, and the risk that I was told by my OBGYN, if I was on the antiviral and had not had an outbreak in the last week, that I had a less than 1% chance of transmitting it to my son. So I made that choice to have a vaginal delivery, but this is something that you can decide to do with your child or not. You know, it's totally up to you, your doctor, and the father. So, all right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed having my husband join us. It was a total surprise, total fluke. He was probably coming in to tell me something, but I don't know what that was. But I enjoyed having him here, and I enjoyed you guys getting to know him. All right, I will see you. How did I build the confidence to go public? I feel like I answered that one, but I saw that you asked it again. I realized that it was something that was going to support people, and it was something that was going to ask your next question. It was something that was going to help people along the way, and as well as help myself along the way. So it was my own journey as well as a journey to support other people. Did I get it? Did I answer your question? Yeah, so what? The confidence. Also, I've learned to detach myself from the stigma. We all have our own narrative about the stigma, and you can create you have your own narrative. People that get herpes did this, do this, look this way, act this way, have it because of that and this. And as long as when you start to detach yourself from that and realize, like, I am not that person and it's just a stigma. I have it because 80% of the population has herpes, and it's just the way it is. So there's that. All right, I will talk about my diagnosis another day. I actually am coming up on my diagnosis anniversary, so I will definitely get there. You're welcome. I'm glad that we've all been here together through this. Keep asking your questions. I will keep going live, and I will keep making more content for you guys. I've been MIA just trying to actually work on my business and keep afloat with that. So hopefully I'll have more time to get more content out to you guys. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.